Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Complicated Relationships Reddit Stories. Hope you guys are safe and healthy. Now let's see what we have in store for you today. In today's story, the man says, "Caught my wife in the act and I left her to proceed with the divorce. Now I'm having second thoughts." This is an updated story, so make sure to stay with us until the end. And this is how the story goes. "I'm kind of lost now. I have been suspicious for some time. There are a lot of warning signs, but nothing concrete, and it has been roughly 2 weeks since I found out. How can I accuse her of something like that? It was her irrational reaction when I decided to confront her. She was not going to be unfaithful. I snooped on her phone and computer but couldn't find anything, so I bought some small cameras and placed them around the house. Then I went to visit some friends over the weekend. I grew up in Norway, close to the Swedish border. I met my wife in Sweden. I was 20 and she was 21, and she had a 3-year-old kid when we met. We hit it off, and I have been that kid's dad for the last 11 years. I love that guy. I consider him my son. We have been married for 6 years. Not that it matters. Long story short, I went home early when I knew she wouldn't be there and watched the footage. Sure enough, there she was doing adult stuff with another guy. I recognized him as a work colleague, Theodor, and we were friendly with him and his wife. I used to believe seeing red was just a figure of speech, but I was seeing red. I've never been that angry. I'm actually a very mellow guy. I never really get angry, but I just lost it. I hit the walls. I kicked the bedroom door so hard it flew off its hinges and smashed the glass table we had in the living room. At some point, I managed to hit my head pretty hard, and that snapped me out of it. I looked at the carnage, and I knew I had to just get out of there. Had my wife walked in at that point, I think I would have been behind bars now, in the best case scenario for domestic outrage. I quickly packed a suitcase with essentials and my laptop. I work with simulation and modeling, and my computer is custom made, so I need that to do my job. I sent a copy of the video to Theodor's wife. I didn't really write anything in the message apart from "Your husband is cheating on you with my wife." I met my son just outside our apartment complex. I gave him a hug and told him I would always love him, but that his mother was cheating on me, so I had to leave. I really regret telling him. He shouldn't be burdened with that, but I wasn't really myself at the time, and it just came out of me. I went to the border. I wanted to go see my family in Norway, but they didn't want to let me cross due to the pandemic. I've been renting a cheap Airbnb. I'm working, but I haven't talked to my wife. The only person I have responded to is my son. He's been asking me questions. I've been honest with him as far as possible that I don't know what is going to happen next, apart from divorce. I've been trying to find a good lawyer. I've received hundreds of messages from my wife and her part of the family. I haven't responded to any of it. My parents are the only ones who know my side of the story as far as I know. I don't want to talk to my friends because they are friends with my wife as well. So I don't really have good support at the moment. I'm afraid that if I talk to her or see her again, I will lose it and do something I can't take back. I also don't want to lose contact with my son, but I have no idea where to start. I'm still boiling with rage, and I don't know how to get past that. I need to respond to my wife at some point, but I'm so angry that I don't think I'm capable of being rational. Now here is the first update. I started calling my son twice per day. He would always tell me everything was okay, but I guess it really wasn't. I was focusing on trying to get myself under control, so I started going to individual counseling, which helped a little. But what really changed things was when I went to try boxing. The first place I visited was kind of grimy and rundown. Still, the 5 guys that were there seemed to have this amazing camaraderie going on. I really wanted in on that. I wanted to belong in there badly. Now, back to the main issue. A few days after my post, about 20 minutes after I had talked to my son, he called me back. He was crying and he apologized for lying to me. He lied when he said everything was okay at home. He went on to tell me that my wife was just sitting in front of the TV, staring at it, even if he turned it off. He didn't have any food to eat, the house smells, and the only thing he had eaten in the last 2 days was some sandwiches a friend's mother had made for him when he visited. Of course, I immediately rushed home. I could smell the rotten garbage in the hallway even before I got in the door. The house was an absolute filthy mess. It clearly hadn't been cleaned since I left almost a month ago. The floor was covered in crumpled up sheets of paper and overflowing dirty dishes in the sink, broken glass on the floor. The rotten garbage smell is absolutely disgusting. I went to check on my son first. I had picked up a burger for him on the way over, and I asked him to stay in his room and eat while I went and talked to his mom. I assured him everything would be okay. I was home and I was going to take care of him. He cried and hugged me for a bit before I went to check in on his mother. The hug felt so good. I had missed him so much, and I am never leaving him again. My wife sat staring at the screen like my son had described. What he didn't tell me was how terrible she looked. She had lost a terrifying amount of weight. She was just skin and bones. Her eyes were sunk into her head, dark rings, lifeless skin, cracked lips, messy dirty hair, and filthy clothes. I grabbed a chair and set myself down between her and the TV. The smell coming off her was absolutely terrible. There was a bucket on the floor. Later found out it was half full of a week-old vomit. I felt a deep pain for her. I wanted to protect her, help her, make her better. For a while I completely forgot what she had done. Seeing her like this was really painful for me. I guess in some ways I still love and care for her, despite what she has done. The fact kind of terrifies me. Something is wrong with me too, I think. To be honest, I didn't know what to say to her. She was clearly not all there. She actually asked me if I was real. When I said yes, she broke down crying in a way I've never seen anyone cry before. Her crying, or wailing is probably a better word, was so loud it sort of startled me. Without warning, mid-scream, she either fell asleep or passed out. I put my Fitbit on her arm because I don't really know how to take someone's pulse. Her heart rate was varied up and down between 100 to 150, so I figured that's probably not good. I made sure she was in a comfortable position on the sofa, and I wiped the snot off her face before I ran and asked our neighbor for help. They were happy to look after our son while I took her to the hospital. She has been there for 7 days now. I have visited once, but she got so upset from seeing me that the doctors recommended that I don't visit for now. They have no diagnosis for her yet. They have no idea of when or even if she will come out of it. I have been focusing on taking care of my son since I have made sure he has regular IC, and he looks like he is doing better now. There is no doubt he has been shocked by this. I am drowning in guilt for my part in causing him this pain. I have been in contact with a lawyer to try to get custody rights for obvious reasons. I don't know how that will work out. I have also prepared for divorce, but I am holding off for the time being. It took us several days to clean the house. I decontaminated the fridge with bleach, and still it smelled like rotten food, so I actually had to get a new one. I also found out that my wife has taken all my dirty laundry into bed and made a body shape of it. It had some additions to make it look anatomically correct, and it's kind of disturbing, to be honest. I looked through all her papers that she left all over the house. It's incoherent nonsense for the most part. Some pages have dates and times. I can't understand most of it apart from some pages that have long lines of sorry, sorry, sorry written on it. Most pages with text just transition into a wiggly line in the middle of a sentence. I don't know what to do. My anger is completely gone, replaced by sadness about the situation and the trauma and pain inflicted on my son. I feel bad for my wife, but I also understand why I was angry and how I have changed to deal with the pain. I have left a huge piece of myself behind, and she caused that. I don't know if I have it in me to forgive that. A big part of my personality was being a good husband and provider for a long time. That part of me was mortally wounded by her affair. I left that part of me behind. It was just too painful to keep. It's too early to say anything about where we will end up for now, as all avenues are open. I'm still hurting and confused. I will just continue to try to rebuild my self-esteem and my self-image of masculinity. If my wife comes out of it, I will talk to her and see where I go from there. Right now I need to focus on my son. I need to make sure he is okay. I am exhausted and sad. I don't know what to do. It was all so clear cut in my mind before I came back. Now I just can't see any good ways going forward. Alright, so we've got the next update coming up. But before that, just a quick reminder to hit that like button if you are liking the story so far, so that this story will reach many more people like you around the world. I haven't been sleeping much and I am a bit dazed, so if I ramble on a bit, please bear with me. The wife is still in the hospital. She is refusing to allow anyone to see her apart from her mother. The only instructions she has given, apart from no visitors, is that no one is to talk to me on her behalf or try to pressure me in any way. She has confessed about her cheating to just about everybody, but not in any detail. Her calls have been panicked along the line of, "I cheated. He is going to leave me. What do I do?" So people have been pretty much leaving me alone unless I have called them to ask for their help or opinion. My wife has written me a letter. Her mother handed it over to me a few days ago. It's long, 32 pages. I will try to summarize the main points here. She apologized for what she has done to me, her son, and us. She says she will sign any paper I put in front of her, no questions asked. Postnup, divorce papers, whatever. She also confesses to a 2-month emotional affair with another man online before the current affair started that turned physical. I didn't know about this at all, so I believe she is being honest. Her confession is very detailed and she has given me all her login credentials to confirm that she is honest and not hiding anything. She freely admits that she was captivated by the attention and the excitement, but she seems genuinely confused that she allowed any of this to actually transpire. I believe what she has written is the truth. Emails, call logs, etc. back her story up, and she has also pointed me to a thumb drive hidden in one of her drawers that contained a diary going back almost 10 years. Her diary and her letter seem to be in perfect sync from what I have read so far. She explains that the first affair online was more of a game than anything else, flirting only. No inappropriate texting or meetups. It went on until suddenly one day she felt compelled to send this guy a message. She immediately ended it. She couldn't find the courage to tell me, but according to the diary, she was trying. When the main affair started, she was flattered and given a huge ego boost by this guy giving her attention. He is very handsome, a model type, and I have met his wife and she is absolutely stunning. 10 out of 10, jaw-droppingly beautiful. My wife's ego rush got addictive, it seems. Getting attention from this handsome guy who was married to such a beautiful woman gave her a huge boost. She felt like she must be very special to outcompete his beautiful wife. She admits she knew what she was doing was wrong, but she also seems genuinely confused that she was unable to stop herself. She hates herself for losing control. I understand this correctly. The affair only turned physical once the AP started to lose interest in her. She started sleeping with him to keep him interested, to keep him giving her attention. From the diary, the physical part seems to be more of a chore for her. She doesn't seem to enjoy it. She does it just to get more attention, like it's a reward she gives him for that. It's clear she is struggling with guilt, especially in the beginning, but she soon starts to compartmentalize this. But of course, we drifted apart and our relationship suffers while she does this. The affair was physical for 4 weeks and they kissed, fooled around and slept together 5 times according to her diary and her confession. This is backed up with her location data and credit card bills for hotels, etc. The rest is history that you already know. Her letter concludes with the following. I don't know who the person was that had the affair, or at least I don't recognize myself doing it. I don't understand how I could so easily abandon my beliefs and my morals and hurt the people in my life that I love more than anything. I don't know why I wasn't able to stop myself. I will not insult you by asking you to understand or forgive me, because I don't deserve understanding or forgiveness. My only hope is that if I can be helpful in some way for you and our son to heal, I will do anything you ask of me without question. I will do anything if you think it might help in any way, no matter how big or small. I will live with my mother once I'm released from the hospital. I will stay away unless you ask for me. I don't want to remind you of my presence, of the pain I have caused both of you. I don't have the words to tell you how sorry I am for what I did. and my greatest wish is that you heal and find someone worthy of your love that you can be happy with. I pray I haven't permanently destroyed your ability to trust and love someone deserving in the future. I will not be with anyone else because I'm clearly not safe to be with anyone. I will seek therapy and perhaps one day cure what is wrong with me. But as of today, I don't really know who I am or why I couldn't stop myself from doing these things. I knew what I did was wrong, that I was hurting everyone, myself included, but I did it anyway. I was selfish. I caused all of this just so I could feel a little bit better about myself for a brief moment. I saw the pain on your face on the camera you left behind in the bedroom, the heartbreaking pain on your face while you were watching the tape with me and the other man. At that moment, I realized how delusional I was and how terrible and evil I had become. I'm afraid there is no salvation for me. I will always love you. I wish I could undo it all, take it all back, but I can't. I'm sorry. I ugly cried reading it, and I really didn't know what to do. I have been up all night reading, and I am emotionally drained, confused, and unsure of everything. I watched the video again, and I also watched the video of me going insane. I don't remember a lot of what happened that is on the video. It is very painful to watch my wife's actions, but I have been looking at it over and over again. Why can't I stop looking at it? It is also very disturbing to watch myself go crazy, and I can't stop doing that either. I keep going back and watching it all from the start to the end over and over again. I try to put it away, but an hour or so later I find myself back watching it all over again. It's hurting me, so I don't understand why I do it. Also, is what she's saying even possible, that a person can be pulled into an affair where behavior becomes compulsive as she describes it, where it is not really a free choice anymore? Maybe a WW on here could share some insight. I also clearly see from her diaries that she probably developed a depression about 3 years ago after her favorite aunt passed. Her perspective on life becomes very dark after this, almost hopeless, I would say. I've read other stories where depression seems to cause drastic personality changes and be a trigger for affairs. Any insight would be appreciated on this. She clearly never loved any of these men. She loved the ego boost, the increased self-esteem, and the rush she felt for them seemingly telling her the right things. On D-Day, she totally cut her AP out of her life and called his wife and told her about the affair. I know this because the AP's wife told me when I met her. She actually asked me if we could have a revenge affair. She was very focused on this, getting revenge. That would help anything. But beauty aside, she's probably the most annoying woman I've ever met. Talking to her was like nails on a chalkboard. Needless to say, we will not be having an affair. We will never ever meet in person again. I don't know what to do now. I can't sleep. I can't really think, so I really could use some help. And that brings us to the final update of this story. I've been trying to get to see my wife, but she refuses and her mother still acts as a go-between. In summary, I have been diagnosed with PTSD and my wife has been diagnosed with persistent depression and some bipolar disorder. Many of you were right. Her condition made her vulnerable. Then a predator crossed her path, and here we are. Her AP has been cheating consistently on his wife for their entire relationship with multiple women in parallel most of the time. They are divorcing. The AP has been beaten up a bit, but not badly from what I've heard. AP's wife called the husbands of most of the women he has had affairs with. I was trying to confirm if the descriptions in her diary were correct, that she considered the S as a chore. And watching her disconnected behavior and facial expressions in the video, she is basically just waiting for it to be over. I have not decided what to do, but I have deleted the video. It was just causing me pain, and I just couldn't put it away. One part of me is screaming at me to just walk away, to run and find someone else. What if she cheats again? How can I trust her? Can I get rid of the movie running on a loop in my mind? Will I divorce her in X number of years because I can't get past this? I struggle with these types of questions. But divorce would definitely mean that I lose some daily contact with my son, and there is no doubt that he needs me, at least for now. He is terrified of being abandoned, considering recent events. I think if I leave his mother now, it would make things worse for him. He is leaning heavily on me at the moment, so even if I decided to divorce, I'm not sure I could actually go through with it in the short term. He has begged me not to leave him again. The 2 weeks I was away were crushing for him, and I'm not exposing him to that again. There is no telling how long it will take for his mother to stabilize enough to be a good parent for him. If I divorce now, maybe she'd never recover. If I leave her, what is really waiting for me out there? Single women my age seems to be either divorced for good reasons, or they are so ravaged by baby rabies they will desperately go for anyone. They are not really considering if the person they choose is a good long-term partner for them. They seem very willing to play a role just to get into a relationship that cannot last a long term, I think. There is no guarantee that a new partner wouldn't cheat as well, given the circumstances. I actually think that the odds of my wife cheating again are lower than a new partner. Will she heal faster and better if I divorce her? So here I am. I am terribly conflicted, and I have a million questions in my head and basically zero answers. I see a long, painful road ahead of us. I hope I have the strength to stay on course and be patient enough to make sure I make the right choices for my family and me. Thank you all for listening. And that's it, guys, from the original poster. Drop a comment in the comment section and let us know your thoughts on the story. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification for more videos like this. Do take care, and I'll catch you next time.